good. That's okay, Mark. That's another way of storytelling, is to tell the story, short storytelling. And I am going to be doing that on the 21st. I just got to do it and tell the story. Our next reader is Alysen Cameron, and she's going to read, Alysen? I'm going to let you out. A short story called Visionary. Sorry, Visionary. Thank you. Do you want to hold the microphone or? No. Thank you.
So I wrote this one a while ago, and I forgot that I had written it. I found it because I moved. I wrote it in 2007, and I was unpacking, and so I thought it was kind of appropriate for Valentine's Day, and I'm glad the child has gone. Okay, so drifting across her thoughts, the acridity of French roast with its oily texture skinned her mind to wakefulness. In that moment she lay focusing for the scent of coffee and finding none. But in this act she became aware she was lying, alone, half naked, and the dream came flowing from the dark night. It had started with someone touching her cheek, down her neck and across her shoulders to her breast with their lips. She knew it to be a dream, but the titillation of lips slowly taking her nipple between them and a tongue pushing against the tip was real. She felt it, she knew it. Recalling her arms lift above her head, taking the warm flannel pajama top off with it, and the sensation moved down to her belly, a wet tongue licking her skin, prodding her belly button, but then the image quickly changed. The third-person image had inexplicably moved into an intensity of someone thrusting their body against hers as she held tight. She witnessed her legs wrapped around an undefiable person, but could feel the ecstasy of him thrusting into her vagina as it bulged and moistened in full. As she recalled the dream, she found herself caressing a hard nipple, yearning to make love to this someone. The radio came on with the words, "Somebody, somebody to love," blared. Had her mind tuned into the future to bring about the seeming coincidence of this song being played as the one that was to bring her out of slumber to another workday with a deep desire for a lover? She lifted herself out of bed, found the top shoved under the pillow, pulled it on, and began her morning ritual. As the water hit the coffee with its familiarity instantly recalled the dream. She switched the thought and went to the closet to choose her clothing. Her mind switched to the dream as she passed the bed. She switched it back to the wardrobe and forced herself to think of the day ahead. Each effort became more of a struggle to focus away from the night's images. It was going to be a battle of will within was her sense of the day, and true to her foretelling, the day progressed. Every nuance, movement she watched like she had never done before of the men in her office. None of them had ever inspired her to think of them as a lover, but now she slyly observed with the eye of possibility. The distraction had almost reached the unbearable, like the moment of lovemaking when you can't take any more yet not wanting it to stop. So you release the juices to let him know you want him more. She looked at the time. It was only 10:20 a.m. Her thoughts were reaching into the realm of obsession, which caused her work to go amiss, until finally her supervisor was forced to comment. She made excuses about the neighborhood being noisy enough to disturb everyone, and asked to leave an hour early. She couldn't bear the full day of looking at her uninspiring choice of male possibilities, nor, she thought, another moment of unrequited passion. She had decided to utilize the oft-forgotten gym membership to alleviate her problem. Yet it panned out to be just as tormenting. There they were, all glistening or dripping in their own sweat on the other side of the glass partition, Some heavy, some sculpted, all formidably enticing. She could see herself reaching out to touch each one of them, stroking the shoulders, stomachs, thighs, cupping testicles gently in her palm. She stopped the images, but increased pedaling and started staring at the gauge. The harder she pushed herself, the greater her desire to reach through the glass. Abruptly she stopped and leapt off the bike. A trainer came over to her, and as she bent over, panting hard and watching the sweat drip from her brow to the floor, she nodded she was fine. The trainer handed her a bottle of water, instructing her to take small sips. She did as she was told, needing the distraction. Slowly she stretched herself erect and eased her way to the showers. At first, she let the hot water pour down her back, its warmth invigorating each nerve ending and directing her attention to her buttocks, whence the urge to spread her legs to let the water caress the vaginal lips to the clitoris. The sensation brought her to masturbation, and she swiftly moved to lower the temperature, gradually cooling the water to deeply contract the nerve endings under her skin. She stayed in till her lips had almost turned blue. She walked home. She avoided her bed by taking the most circuitous route she could find. Store windows she stopped, looking, but at things of little interest. Reading book covers from those sitting in sidewalk bins without intention of purchasing. Changing her steps in unison to the noises on the street. Stopping to listen to the musician across the street sing 3 songs. All to no avail, because the image of her hands grabbing naked shoulders and forcing them down so that she could straddle him hovered with every breath. She envisioned this reality, and somehow, somewhere, it was to unfold.